everyone, and welcome back to our World Explorers podcast. I'm joined, as always, with Isaac. Say hello.
Yo.
That's not hello, but okay. I don't think I've ever heard you say yo before. And as always, Isaac has our prompt ready for this week's episode. Ready to share.
So, I was thinking about creating like a sci-fi world, and then I thought, okay, how are we going to do this in a way that isn't very is original, because we got all your different planets, and then you got maybe a space station. And I had a few ideas running through my head, and then I said, nah, let's go with something more interesting. Let's go with cyberspace.
Cyberspace?
Cyberspace.
You mean like the kids' TV show?
Kind of.
Isn't that what that's called? Or is it like Cyber Chase or something?
There's a show called Cyber Chase, and
it's a cyberspace.
They are living in a place called cyberspace.
Okay.
But when I say cyberspace, that's a type of world.
Yeah,
Generally,
I know.
It's referring to a computer.
Yeah. I was just making sure
Tron.
you were aware that because you're going on this whole let's be really original. I'm like, that's a thing.
I'm saying let's go with something that hasn't been done as much.
Okay.
Sci-fi has been done so much, and they all have just such similar feels to each other. Some of them are a little bit more unique than others, but generally they have very similar feels. Cyberspace can go all over the place.
So is this cyberspace, are we going like the full we're in a computer and everything's very meta in that sense, or how do you want to do this?
That's sort of what I was thinking, sort of as having it in a computer, but we would have to determine what kind of computer we're in, because it could be something like a kid's desktop or something.
Yeah, because that's possible.
Or it could be so you could range from that to a computer locked in a government facility. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or it could be a combination of all computers linked over the internet.
I mean, if we wanna go back to the cyber chase reality, I think it's a computer that's actually in the world that runs it and then can connect to any human computer. Isn't that how she works?
I think so. It's been a really long time since I've seen it, but
it was my favorite show when I was little. So when you said cyber chase, I got excited.
Yeah,
I love that show.
I love that show too.
It's so good.
But yeah, her name was the motherboard, and I'm pretty sure that's how it worked.
Yeah, because I remember the kids could be anywhere, and she'd be like, "Oh, zapping you on the computer now," and I'm like, "Wow, no warning." At one point, she had a virus. That show got really intense. They nearly killed the motherboard.
Yeah, I remember that, where they had the weird CGI hacker on the screen, and I always looked at that thinking, "Oh, that is creepy and disturbing." And then I looked it up again many years later. I'm an adult, and I'm thinking back to that scene, and I'm like, was it really as creepy as I remember? Yes, it was.
It is creepy. That show was intense. I mean, they had actual consequences. It was a good kid show, and it taught you math.
Yep.
But we are getting off topic.
Yeah. Anyway, so cyberspace. What kind of computer are we looking at? We're looking at all computers at once, linked over the internet. Are we looking at just a single individual laptop or a desktop?
I mean, I feel like it either has to be all computers or it has to be one big computer. One very high-tech computer. Because there's no way my little laptop is creating an entire world on it. It melts me just trying to load Minecraft, so...
Well, I would say that you could pull an entire world. Well, maybe if it was let's say it's
my computer could connect to the world.
Gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah, my computer could connect to it.
Let's say it's got 32 gigabytes of RAM and can run a whole bunch of stuff really smoothly. So, nice computer.
Yeah.
So do we want to go with one computer then?
I don't know. I kind of like the idea that anyone can access it. Because I know my wimpy little laptop.
I'm not talking about anyone. I wasn't talking about anyone being able to access it we enter the computer like they did in Cyber Chase. I'm talking more inside the computer there's a totally separate world that humans can't access other than through a keyboard and a mouse.
Oh,
Like you
yeah,
would
in
have
which case, one computer, and then maybe it's hooked up to the internet so, like, we could interact with the world. I have quotation marks that no one can see, but interact with the world via our computers and, like, as a video. It's almost as if, like, what if your video games were real life?
kind of, but not even just video games. I'm thinking every program on your computer could be a location or an item or something in there. The characters could be programs, and maybe the building blocks of the world are megabytes and kilobytes. Um, and those are the actual building blocks of the world that is cyberspace. Um, and maybe if you were to try and get from point A to point B, it's not necessarily a straight line when you're trying to travel through coding to get from one app or program to another.
Okay.
When you're trying to leave Minecraft and go to Microsoft Paint.
I'm trying to, because part of this is like, this is already kind of a thing in the sense that every program we have is a world. So,
Kind of, yeah.
you know, my Google is
It's not
its
even.
own little world separate from
Yes.
my video games that I have,
Yes.
separate from my, like, Word. But I do like the idea of a Word being a planet and then you have, like, a bunch of letters who all live there, just waiting to be, like, implanted on things, and they just wander about, and they have
Are
their
you
own little
thinking of?
lives.
Are you thinking of Word World?
Yeah. I don't know what they'd call it.
There's a show called Word World.
Oh no, not like that. But they actually turned into the things that they. That show was weird. No, I'm just
Yeah.
referring to. I'm referring to when you type in your Word documents, every letter you type in is a new life you've created. And then they can wander about in their little world. And when you go off, like log off of it, they all come to life and they interact and they build homes. And then the moment you come back, it's like Toy Story. And the moment you come back, they all return to their original position.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting. Although I wouldn't say that each time you, I wouldn't. I'm not sure how I feel about everything being a letter, like every letter and symbol, like is a life, because
It could
those
be
are
it's
sorts of.
limited, like it's just one of each like character type, and they all live, and then they just duplicate themselves onto the. And so the word, I'm trying to like think how to explain this. So the
I,
letters can imprint themselves on. It's kind of like a printing press. You have the actual blocks, which are and then you put ink and you stamp them. So the actual blocks would be the living lives. They'd be the letters that would live their lives. And then when you're typing, you're just inking those up and putting them onto the paper. And those things aren't alive. But your little block pieces are, if that makes sense.
okay, so you have letters that are alive, but there's only one of each type of letter and symbol, and then they are duplicating themselves whenever you're typing something.
Yeah. But those
So
aren't
everything on your
alive. They're
computer.
just. Yeah.
Okay, so the program that is made up of all these letters and symbols is not alive, but the letter S is, even though
Yeah.
there's a bunch of other S's inside that program.
Yeah, but there's
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 one
one
letter
S that's actually
yes.
living and controlling when you put other S's on.
Okay, and then it's like toys that you're saying. It's like Toy Story. You boot up your computer, they get into position for you to do whatever.
Yeah. In which case, like, every single program on your computer could be like that. Which is slightly creepy.
Okay, I find the idea of all the letters and stuff being the living things strange, because I was thinking along the line when I was thinking about it. I was thinking maybe there would be some kind of a program that is the actual living thing. I think it's usually how it goes. I know that there's been shows. A common one was like you've got your viruses and then you've got your antiviruses, and then they battle each other.
Yeah. I never liked those shows.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I think that was a very like 90s or maybe early 2000s type of show.
I watched one episode of those type of shows and had a horrible nightmare afterwards and have avoided them ever since. But if we want to go back on the idea of our applications each having like little communities, like Discord, it could actually be our character profiles that mingle with each other. And every now and then we'll get like
Huh.
they'll get whenever we change our little icon, they get pictures. And they're in constant fear of a user being deleted.
Yeah.
And I
That'd
bet
be,
they would
oh,
take
that would
on
be,
personalities of like ours. So like I would close the computer, and then our little ball things would still keep going and keep talking to each other, anyways. And they would all interact with each other. But you'd have to be friends to interact
okay.
with each other.
Yeah, so what if everybody was like, yeah, there was these character profiles for like all the different programs where you have created some sort of profile, like there would be one for your Discord, one for your Skype, one for Snapchat, um, Facebook, or whatever's downloaded on your computer. But at the same time, that would cause a problem where everything on your computer is going to have a very similar personality.
True.
They're all going to be basically identical, except for your Skype, because that's so many years old and you've changed since then, and your Skype's gonna not be like you
I mean, my
like you
Skype
were
is
7 years
I've
ago.
lost the password to my Skype, so my Skype is free to do whatever it wants for the rest of its life.
Your Skype is now in prison.
No, because it's when I'm on it that it like everything shuts down. Like my Discord character would never be free because I have Discord up 24/7, and if it's not on my computer, it's on my phone. So like my Discord's always up. But my Skype person, she can do whatever she wants because I'm never on Skype.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know how we would go about making characters who are like profiles because if it's a user profile, then all of your user profiles are going to have very similar personalities, and if you just make one user profile, then you gotta wonder what's keeping everything else from coming to life.
Okay, new concept, but kind of based off of this. So there's this overlord of all the computers and stuff, and they are taking our data. So everything we do, all the
Oh,
games we
go.
play, all our personalities, and they're creating one profile based around that. And that one
Google.
profile is the one that lives in this world. So there is a computer version of me that's based purely off of my gaming, the fact that I do college, my the things I look up on YouTube or on the internet, and all those things. So, and that's my one profile, and it wanders around in this world.
Okay, I do like that one a little bit more.
Yeah.
That one makes sense. But now, if you were to do that, then we would be talking about linking all computers and not having this take place in a single computer where you leak programs and
Well, no, you
stuff.
still have that one computer, but the thing is, the internet exists, Isaac, and our computers can link to that one computer. So it's just based off of the internet. That computer has access to the internet, and it takes all our data from it. It's pretty much a play on what people think's already happening anyways, where people are gathering our data and using it for nefarious purposes, except in this case they're using it to create an alternate world.
Okay, okay, I get it. Okay, so let's go with that. Now that we've got like how people are created in this world and where their personalities and stuff come from, uh, what does the world look like? Because I was talking about like things like megabytes and kilobytes and everything being building blocks of the world. Uh, Not quite sure what that would look like. I guess it's hard to envision this because cyberspace is very much a visual world that's got a very specific like sort of aesthetic to it,
I mean, we
where
can go a
sometimes you're going to
different.
have things like grid patterns and uh, raining like matrix text and code everywhere, like and glitching effects sometimes. Like it's a very much a visual thing and not so much something that you would usually get in a book, which makes it kind of hard to describe.
I mean, we could go a different route in the sense that programs are like their own worlds, and so it's not so much like the weird green line bar things with the black void and people wandering about in that, but it's more like there's different programs. So going back to the word, I guess word would be just a white space with like little word letters bouncing about, and you might have what?
Oh, so you're saying the Emoji Movie's what we're creating?
Let's. I if we had to go anywhere, can we go with Wreck-It Ralph 2? That did it slightly better.
I have not seen Wreck-It Ralph
I'm
2.
thinking
I haven't
Wreck-It
seen
Ralph
the
2.
first one. I need to see the first.
The first one's amazing. The
to,
second one's okay, but we don't talk about the Emoji Movie.
I had the opportunity to see the second one, and then I said, nope, I need to see the first one before I see the second one.
The second one's okay. Like, people give it a lot of bad rap, but it's not going to age well, is the thing with the second one. It's not the first one is a classic that's timeless and will, like, last for generations. The second one, in, like, 10 years, is going to be completely outdated.
Oh, so they made, like... I'm going to guess that they did Fortnite dances.
I think at one point they might have. I don't know, they have so many, like, weird references, and I don't get half of them. So, yeah. But...
Yeah... When you said that, my guess was they did a Fortnite dance and dated the movie, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Well, they dated the movie in so many ways.
Yeah, it really bothered me. Like, when the Sonic movie did that, like, he started doing the floss, and I'm like, you just dated the movie. Why did you do that?
I mean, Wreck-It Ralph 1, the first Wreck-It Ralph is it is dated, but, like, it's, I don't know, you could tell that it came in an era where video games was switching. Like, it was no longer being arcade games. So you could tell what era it was created, but it's not defined by that era. Like, the message, it's a good movie, you should watch it. I like Wreck-It Ralph. That's another, it's on Disney Plus, so we can make it another movie break and you can watch Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay.
Either that or it's on Netflix. Either way, I have access to something.
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph is another show where it's very much, like, cyberspace.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm thinking more like Wreck-It Ralph style in the sense that this profile of you can go thing. Now, here's the thing. The profile of you is not going to be like like your actual version. Because I'd imagine using my own profile will be very different in the sense that a huge part of me comes from like literature and books. And very little of that will be seen in this character. Like, I watch one book YouTuber, and even then he does books that I don't actually read. So, if anything, it thinks I'm into, like, more modern books when I'm actually into classics. Like, my love of classics would not show up in my profile. Just because it's not something that I'm actively putting on the internet.
Okay.
Or love of crocheting. Crocheting might show up a bit, because I do look up a lot of recipes, and, like, they're kind of recipes. I don't know what instructions on how to make different things. Patterns, that's it.
Yes, recipes for cooking your yarn.
Yeah. They're kind of recipes. It's the same idea. It's the same principle.
I don't think it's edible once you're finished weaving it together.
Well, we talk about crafting recipes.
Here's a pair of mittens for you.
Look, in video games,
thank you. This is
Isaac,
delicious.
Isaac, in video games, we talk about recipes all the time, and we can't eat half the stuff we're crafting.
It's only in Minecraft.
No, it's other games that have recipes. Like Stardew Valley, Ooblets, are two I
haven't
play.
played either of those.
Well, they have recipes as well. It's a common thing. Recipes can refer to something you're crafting.
Okay.
Don't Starve also has
I haven't played that either.
What games have you played? Your profile is not going to be much of a gamer, is it? It's just Minecraft.
Minecraft, Age of Empires, and Spyro. There you go. I've also got a few Wii games. Also including Spyro.
Your character's going to be obsessed with dragons, or at least...
I like dragons.
Yeah, but I feel your profile, though, will be, like, extra obsessed with it to a whole new level. Because I think that's what's going to happen in these profiles, is that things that we're secretly obsessed with that doesn't show up in our real day-to-day life is going to become extremely apparent in these profiles. And the real question is, which one is more real to the person, the profile or their real-life self?
Wait, what do you mean? Which one is more real to the person? Like the person, oh, the real life person didn't know that this profile even existed.
Yeah, but like the profile is everything that this person is. A lot of these things that the person's trying to hide is would be represented in the profile because of search histories and the things they're
Ah,
looking up and stuff. Like something for me, I talk about D&D more now, but there was a long time when I never talked about it. But my YouTube feed and everything shows that I really liked D&D. So my profile would be very open about it, but me as a person never would have been.
okay. So what if the people who are what if these profiles have a similar culture in cyberspace as we do here? So if somebody were a fan of, let's say, My Little Pony, and were very embarrassed about it, and were not open about it at all, and then the profile ended up being very much all about My Little Pony and wanted to hide it from the world.
I feel like that would ruin the point of the profile, though. Because that's
Well, I
the
mean,
difference, is that the profile...
what's a good character if the character has no secrets?
Well, yeah, true, but I feel like the actual... The secrets and stuff comes from the world itself. Uh, I'm trying to think, like, what's the purpose of this
Oh,
world?
I have an idea.
Yeah?
What if it is possible to know the world's secrets in cyberspace? Like, you can know, like, all the different profiles, secrets, and everything, but you have to, like, look for them or tap into them. Like, there's this, like, you're able to tap into these profiles, basically.
Oh, almost
Like,
like
you're able to...
you can Skype call them, in a way.
I was
Like,
thinking
there's
more
a,
like...
a
I was thinking more like you could open up a menu and look at what they're composed of,
I
basically.
mean, I feel like talking to them, though, would be a more interesting story.
I
Like,
think that talking to them would be the more polite way to go.
yeah. But imagine this person had created this profile, so it's been creating it for years, and then all of a sudden, this website comes out in which people can type in any person's name, and this profile of them appears, and they can have a conversation with them. What would that do to the world?
Well, suddenly, what are you talking about? Like, a real person types in somebody's profile and then starts talking with the profile?
Yeah.
So,
There'd be a one at
at
a
that...
time rule type thing. Like, you might get a, this person's busy with someone else, try again, or you're getting a waiting line queue. But yeah.
Wait, so is the okay, I'm a little bit confused. Is the profile talking with a real person, or is a real person talking to the real person, or is a profile talking to the profile?
So it would be a real person talking to the profile. So what happened was, whoever created this world released a website that allowed real people to log on to this website, type in any name we wanted of a person, and have their profile come up and have a conversation with them. All of a sudden, all the secrets that people have been keeping to themselves, but like is clear on their computer, like all their search history, the things they watch, the things that they're actually obsessed with and stuff. And
this is why you need to read the terms of service.
Yeah. This is what Google's actually trying to do. One day they're going to come out with this website and it's going to shock us all. And we can just type in whatever name we want and nothing will be secret.
Well, I feel like society might start to crumble if that sort of website came out.
Yeah?
Because, there would be quite a bit more flame wars. People getting upset. And then there's the profile.
I feel like a lot of
that one
marriages
guy
might
cheating on
die.
his wife with 3 other people.
I feel like this would be the end of a ton of marriages.
Oh, yeah.
Just because we
Like,
all know
imagine
what
getting
people do.
on and it's just, imagine the wife looking up her husband's name and finding out, oh, you've been cheating on me with 3 other people. How dare you?
Or
And
all
people.
her husband's profile talks about is other women.
Yeah.
That could be a problem.
Imagine just like you go, and imagine this woman logging on and being like, "Oh, hi, profile of my husband. Who would you say is the most beautiful lady down the street? It's like house 2321.
I mean, I
She
don't think it
lives
could.
there.
I don't think it could be that. It's not the thing about the profile is it can only do online stuff. Not so much. It doesn't. It's not like
A
cameras are around
neighbor.
in the real world filming everything you're doing.
Okay, so it's like, who would you say is the most beautiful woman in the neighbor?
Or like some random woman from a website. I
Yeah,
think
it
it is
was
what's
like
going to be more
it's
likely
so
is a woman from a website because if you're having an affair with someone and it's like fully not offline, like there's no sign of it online, then your profile's not going to know about it because it only knows
so
what you do on your computer.
it's like, so who would you say is the most beautiful woman in the world? Well, it's a hard choice between these 12 people on Tinder.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I'm kind of curious what these profiles are just doing. Are they
Uh,
just going about obsessing over the things that that us in real life obsess over?
I would think so.
I mean, do they have like dream homes or something? Or do they have a place where they live that's like based off of searches? Like for me, I'd have a lot. My profile would live in like a cottage-like place because I look up a lot of cottages because they're pretty. Is that a thing?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to determine what exactly the profile's home would be. Is it something that the profile, like the person with the profile, would probably want to have the home, or would it be made up of interests to that person? Like, if
That's
you had looked
true.
up a bunch of cottages and stuff, that could be your home, or you could make it so, like, your home is somehow made of D&D.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
just
know
live in
how
a
you make a
tavern.
house. Yeah, you live in a
I
tavern.
just live in a tavern.
It's like, I live inside the belly of a dragon.
I mean, there's very few dragons in D&D. Unless you play a dragonborn, which is a thing. So you can be a
I
dragon.
would just play a dragon.
Yeah, you can be it's a dragonborn, so it's like a dragon humanoid thing.
Nah, I'd just be dragon.
No, good luck with that. Most dungeon masters will not let you do that, but okay.
Make me a purple dragon
You
with
would
yellow
be told you
spines.
can be a dragonborn. And that'd be the closest you can get. Or else you'll just be a hinder to your party.
Ah.
Because you won't be able to fit in the taverns. And that's
I'll
a
be
very
a small
cruel.
dragon.
You'd just be a dragonborn.
Well,
You're
no, because then I'm part human, and that's just weird.
No, you're just a dragon pretty much who like walks on 2 feet and talks.
Well, that's just weird.
And you being an actual dragon isn't?
How about yes? Yeah, an actual dragon that's
Actually,
maybe
wait,
the
this brings up
size.
an interesting point. Would our profiles look like us, or would they look like what we'd want based off of our searches as well?
Our profiles would need to be able to find pictures of us that we have uploaded, and then determine that they are us and not somebody else that we took the picture of. So I
True.
would say that they're more to look like something that sort of fits our personalities, I guess.
I guess how they dress would be what would change.
Maybe.
Because
Uh,
I don't know. I guess if you do a lot of online like window shopping of designer clothes and stuff, then your profile, despite you personally not being able to afford said clothes and therefore don't own any, your profile that'd be like all they wear because that's what they know you look up clothes wise. Me it'd be a lot of thrift store stuff because I like looking at thrift clothes, so my profile would wear a lot of that because that's what I look up online.
mine would be a dog's bandana.
You make
I don't do much clothes shopping.
in which case it'd probably just go off based your pictures and there's another thing. Can you have pets? Can your profile have a pet?
I think so, but the pet would not be the same as like your pet in real life. Oh, what if there are other? Okay, so we haven't thought about this. What about other creatures in this world? Like, what if
Oh.
there's more than just the profiles? What if there's like some kinds of animals roaming the programs? What if these programs are not programs? These things roaming the programs were okay. Let's come up with a cool name for them. Uh, Data beasts.
Data beast. That's actually pretty good. So the data
I feel
beast.
like there's a better name that we could go with, but
Honestly, I
yeah,
think
that's
data
what
beasts
came
could
to my mind.
be would be so they'd be a part of this world and they could shapeshift into whatever the profiles need in a way. So like if your wants a pet, a data beast would change. Like they shift into whatever.
Okay.
So they're free
Uh,
forming in a way. So like I did a lot of research on hamsters and turtles and stuff. So like my profile would probably have at one point my profile would have had a pet turtle because I did a lot of research on buying turtles even though I never bought one. And then now my profile would probably switch to having a hamster because I've done a lot of research on like how to care for a hamster because I have one. You buy dog bandanas and
okay.
such, so your profile would probably have a dog because it thinks you would want one.
Okay. So yeah, data beasts can change.
I just
Form.
a lot of these profiles are going to be so politically charged. A lot of these profiles are not going to be nice to be around.
I mean, have you been on the internet?
Exactly. Like I think my profile would be okay. Like she'd be a weird one. It'd take a bit to get used to her, but she wouldn't be like shouting in your face every 5 seconds. She'll just be like, "Ooh, this," or like very. I think I'd be a very distracted profile. Just always on to this, or like, oh, look, crafting. Oh no, pet obsession. Oh no, this obsession. I'd be very obsessed about different things, and I'd switch between them constantly, because that's how my internet looks.
Yeah, one of the problems with the internet is it's like handing megaphones out to a crowd.
Yeah, it's a bad
But then you
idea.
got you got the soft-spoken normal people who aren't going to be the ones to use them,
Yeah.
and then you got everyone else going out there. It's like you got that small group of people with the megaphones who are just screaming into them as loudly as possible.
Yeah.
Which you got to wonder: are there profiles who are protesters using megaphones on the streets of cyberspace, shouting for whatever cause they're trying
I'd imagine
to
so. If that's what the person's profile is doing, then that's what they'll be doing. That's if that's what your internet looks
this world
like.
would be so annoying. This world just got really annoying.
Well, I feel like there'll be different places. So, like, if we go back to the idea that like Word is its own world, Twitter would have its own world, and they would hang out there, and they would just go there, and it'd just be shouting matches, which I feel like is what Twitter is, anyways.
Yeah.
Literally,
There's
it's
a
like you
reason I
walk
don't
into
use
this world and
Twitter.
you're handed a megaphone and say, "Go have fun." And then whenever you leave, you have to hand the megaphone back.
Yeah. It's like,
Meanwhile, like a place like Discord, it would just be like a bunch of people sitting and chatting.
wow, that sounds a lot less chaotic than the name would imply.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Well, that's what Discord has become, though. It's just a bunch of people chatting about stuff.
Discord is so much less chaotic than you would think. Like, it's literally called Discord, and it's pretty well organized.
It is, actually. Yeah, things like Word document, you'd probably honestly be by yourself because it's a solo place. And you could just sit there and, like, some people could be writing worlds or something. If you're on Word all the time, your profile would be in Word, stuff like. So you'd be. I feel like that your profile would spend a lot of time on the programs you do. So how would video games work for the profile? Would they actually like legitimately be in it, like your character? Like if we play Minecraft a lot, so we're gonna use that as an example. But would our profile just become Steve and like just play, but almost like the
I
VR experience?
I don't know. I think that our maybe.
Because I imagine a
I think that
profile
our
can't die, so.
I think that our profiles wouldn't latch on to any one program or anything. I think that they would be their own person,
Okay.
kind of like a human is, except in cyberspace.
Yeah.
I think that maybe we've actually focused enough on these profiles because I feel like they're well done as they are,
Yeah.
and we don't need to build the profiles anymore. And we've been spending a really long time on that.
Well, that's because we were confused and didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, but I think they're good where they are,
Okay.
and now we need to focus on actually building cyberspace. Give these profiles a place to live before we run out of time.
Yeah, I can agree with that. So,
Yeah, that's where I was trying to go with like creating the database.
Database.
Was to try to expand on the world more than just these
So
creatures
yeah,
or
I feel
these
like the
characters.
options we have the option where the world is just programs that can be found on the internet, and the other option is that their world looks a lot like ours, except subtle differences, such as like database and stuff. But it's more like, oh, they live in a neighborhood like ours, but maybe they can travel places faster, or insta travel, I should say, and they have a database that follows them about and changes into what they want at that moment.
I think I like the idea of it looking like ours, but with subtle differences, and maybe and I think yeah, things subtle differences like the database, and maybe their transportation system. Maybe it's not cars that they use. Maybe there's something else they would use. With programs
I
or
know. Whenever I say that,
profiles
I
be
always talk
using
about
for
like
transportation.
trains. Like cyber trains is always a popular one.
Yeah, that one's always a very, very popular one. But it's also like I'm trying to think what other sort of unique ways can do it because like you got to ask the question
I
other
mean,
than
we
it
could
looks
go. We
cool
could use
by
the
trains.
We could use the cyber beasts as transportation too. It's just my character suddenly my profile's hamster turns into like a really insta travel thing that you just hop on and off you go.
Maybe like if you suddenly decide you want a car or a Silver Surfer's surfboard and you just go where you want.
Yeah, that's the beauty of these cyber beasts. So I
Okay.
think the big difference between this world and ours is they have cyber beasts that transform, and they don't have their own form of internet. So that's just something they don't have. Because then it would get too meta. Because then
Okay.
there'd be like a profile for you.
Yeah.
And then it'd be an
Yeah.
endless cycle,
I'm
and I
down
don't
with
think
that.
anyone wants that. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want it,
Yeah.
go for it. It's an interesting story, but my brain does not want to
Yeah,
dive into that.
then you start getting into the question of wait, Joy cried. Does that mean that Riley's emotions have emotions, and then do those emotions have emotions? And then you get into that sort of question.
Yeah, and I'm good. I don't need to be in those type of questions today. So yeah, we'll pass on those. But so they don't have their own internet, but so instead it's just these characters going about and living their life based off of how you do your internet life.
Okay. I think that if that we do need some form of communication for them, though. One option I would say is just in person. They meet each other and they talk. The
Yeah.
other option
Okay.
is through some sort of program they can send a message, like maybe through Discord they could communicate with each other.
Maybe it's not like an internet, but they have like a phone. And that phone is literally what a phone originally was for, which is messaging people.
So we've
Nothing
got
else.
ourselves a flip phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
don't think it should be called a phone though,
Nah.
because that's like a real world thing and not a cyberspace thing. So what sort of a phone like thing would they have in cyberspace?
I don't know.
Uh,
Communicator?
some kind of communication device that's small that could fit in your pocket or hook on your belt. Sounds like a phone.
Yeah, I got it.
um, this is kind of hard.
We can just let
This is a
someone else
hard
do
world to
that.
build.
Someone else can come up with names. Names have
Uh,
never been our strong suit. I don't know why you're sitting here trying to come up with one.
we'll call it uh telecom.
And,
A telecom.
I say we just move on. That's how they communicate. It doesn't need a name.
Okay.
So they can pretty
So
much
what about
teleport anywhere they want in this world. They've got their little things so they can be in contact. So another question that we're gonna have to ask is, can they be in contact with people that we are like people outside who we know in real life? Like clearly our profiles could talk to each other because we know each other.
yeah?
But could my profile talk to, I don't know, someone who lives on the other side of the world who I've never met before? Is that a thing?
I think that your profile could talk to the profile of somebody who's on the
Yeah.
other side of the world,
Yeah.
but not the actual person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Until that website comes up and ruins the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That was what I was thinking, was that be a cool... So your profile could end up having a completely different friend group.
Yeah.
You. Like, I might actually... I bet my profile would actually have a D&D campaign it goes to every week. And I am super jealous of my profile right now. Because I don't have that. I want that, but I don't have it.
Okay, so what other things can we put in this world? How about more creatures, or any more sorts of animals that would be put into here?
Like
For the most part, I would think they would.
kinda fill...
Yeah, but obviously, those ones are specifically the ones that just sort of follow you around and are your pets. Are there any others?
I mean, you might have, like, the classic wild animals of the real world, so that way your profile can react to them and interact with them.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of having a profile who's an animal rights activist if there isn't a zoo it can go protest at, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
True. Okay, so what about a fun thing that always has to go into cyberspace? Glitches.
Okay. What would cause a profile to glitch?
Not even necessarily a profile, but anything, any sort of program, profile. If there was some sort of a virus injected into the system, like maybe let's say that some sort of program. Let's go with that Google Scribble game. What is it called again? Okay, I know there's. Okay, there's an. Okay,
like
let's go with another game. Let's go.
Something.
I don't know. There's another game called Scribble.io.
Oh, okay.
Let's just go with that. It's like you draw a picture and you have to guess what the person is drawing.
Okay.
It's one of those kinds of games. Anyway, let's just go because that's simple. Let's just try and see what would happen if you were to try and glitch that out.
I mean, but
let's see
would that glitch like affect this world? Because we've already established it's not really about programs as much as.
I think that this world is somewhat like there's different locations you can go to
that are linked to
okay, so let's say that. Okay, actually, how about this? The world where all the profiles are stored starts glitching out, and maybe objects around the world start acting funny. Like maybe for a split second, there might be a bunch of linear holes that just quickly open up in the ground and then shut. Like pixels are disappearing or something.
Okay. Just like I know, as interesting as it is, I feel like something we also need to establish: what happens when a profile dies?
So I'm wondering, how does a profile die, and can a profile die?
So relating back to the glitch thing, that might be something that, like, the glitch causes it to die, or something.
The glitch could cause,
because I feel like otherwise it wouldn't.
Deletion.
Yeah, I feel like otherwise it wouldn't die.
Okay, so the glitch could cause an accidental deletion. That could be one thing that happens in this world, is it starts glitching out for some unknown reason, probably some evil profile or program causing it, maybe released a virus or some kind of bug into the system.
Yeah.
And maybe it could be something like the glitchy areas. Anywhere, if there's a glitch in the world, it's like your objective is do not touch the glitch.
Yeah.
Or it could kill you. Or maybe if the glitch, some people could say could potentially be a virus, and the virus could spread by people touching it. Except this is a visual virus.
Yeah. Because if someone was to find out about this world and they have stuff on the internet and their profile knows things about them they wouldn't want anyone else to know, I'd imagine that might be a reason someone might create a virus even.
Yeah, to maybe like get rid of the profiles.
Yeah, because they have things they don't want people to know about.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say that there was some kind of a virus created, and the way the viruses could work is if you touch the virus, it spreads to you, but kind of like real world virus, except this is a visual virus, and it doesn't give you a cough and a cold and sneezing.
No, it just kills you. You're just done.
Yeah, it kills you. Maybe it's like you just sort of like glitch out and die in a fizzle of static.
And it probably wouldn't have much. I mean, how would that affect like people's online presence? Does it just you come onto your computer one day and all your stuff's deleted? So like your profiles and stuff and like all your Word documents.
I think
and
that
everything?
it's more like that profile that Google was tracking and creating based on your search results and stuff is now deleted, but maybe your account and stuff is still there.
Well, in that case, though, couldn't it just make a new profile?
Yeah, it essentially creates a new profile that's some kind of similar to what you had before, but it is not the same person.
Okay.
And it's also lacking anything that you might have tacked on there from 3 years ago that you have no interest in today.
True.
So it's not like people are immortal. There's just a new person being created with similar interests.
Oh, alright. So we've got... Actually, I think
these would be the most shallow characters ever.
But
these people who were just created, who were made up of 10 Google searches.
And that's all they can talk about because they've got nothing else going for them.
Yep.
I mean, it could be a fun side character. Just a really
but I mean,
annoying
that character would obviously not stay that way for super long.
No,
or it
they'd
would
be
be like
developed.
an account that was like created but then abandoned after 10 searches.
Aw.
And so the user never returns to it.
But here's the thing, wouldn't that, over time, wouldn't those searches develop into their own person? Like, from that searches, can't the person, the profile then, like, make connections and stuff and, you know, grow from that?
I think so, but their core elements would remain the same.
Yeah, they can't stretch terribly far, but I feel like eventually they can have a somewhat character.
Yeah, they can build their own characters, just only to a point. Like,
Yeah.
they can't... Like, they cannot... like, if there was never a Google search about learning guitar, going and picking up the guitar and learning to play and anything, maybe this character could still do that, but it's not going to become a core essential part of that character. It's just something that character can do, but it's not like a passion. They don't have a passion for it.
Yeah. Well, we are out of time for this.
Okay.
Yeah. We focused mostly on the profiles, which I think is okay. They were interesting.
Yeah, this was
and
a hard one to build.
Yeah, it was, but
I did not expect it to be as difficult as it was. I expected it to be really cool with a whole bunch of interesting ideas, and also at the same time trying to be unique somehow and not rebuild Tron or anything.
I mean, I think the profiles are pretty unique and an interesting idea, and there's lots of different concepts you can grow off of it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this was a little bit slow, but it picked up as it went on.
Yeah. I mean, we had to figure out what the heck we were talking about. But once we did, we were good.
It's hard to visualize this. Like, I am struggling so hard to piece all of this together.
But that's
like
all.
I said, this is much more of a like visual medium sort of world.
Yeah.
You don't read about cyberspace in books generally. You see it on screen.
Yeah, well, this is all we've got time for, so we're gonna be signing out and saying goodbye. So, and we'll see you next week for yet another world to explore. Bye!
Bye, peoples. Living in the cyberspace. The chase is on. I don't remember what they said.